Valorant is planning to monitor voice chat. Tests begin the next month, with other Riot games to follow. At first,
can you tell me some other notable Riot games?
I mean, let's Google a bunch.
Thanks, East Germany.
Because I have general impressions of like the fan bases for different ones.
Thank you.
So I think Riot is League of Legends, if I'm not mistaken. Wait, give a sec. Riot.
So anything with voice chat is liable to be picked up and monitored?
What?
So anything with voice chat for them is liable to be picked up and monitored?
Apparently.
How do you even do that?
So games from Riot is Team Fight Tactics, League of Legends, Legends of Runeterra, Ruin King. They have a new fighting game coming out from the Ponder Brothers, I think.
League of Legends and Ruin King were the only ones I've heard of.
Me too.
So, but like League of Legends alone is like ginormous.
Yeah.
So let me find the article again. Let me start reading. Okay, so Riot Games will begin testing its voice chat monitoring technology in Valorant next month as part of a wider strategy to combat disruptive behavior in its game.
Define disruptive behavior.
I mean, everything that isn't LGBTQ
not puppies,
and Latinx, I
not
think.
rainbows, not cupcakes.
In a blog post, Riot announced its voice evaluation system, eventually intended to identify community behavioral violations, such as the use of abusive language.
This is AI generated. Oh wow! Does that mean that they're going to use AI to like track your tone of voice and not just the words you're saying?
Ridiculously devoid of of context and no.
We
nuance
know that
whatsoever.
robots have not, like at least as of yet, been able to detect tone of voice.
Sarcasm is slips through.
Yeah. So okay, let's just get into it.
Scary.
The first thing that I want to say is that is nothing sacred anymore.
Nope.
Is there a single place where good old boys can call their friends morally and mentally reprehensible in jest? That is like 90% of the communication that we have here, like when we're off camera, and 70% of the communication we have here on camera. You know, there is nothing funner.
Yeah, in transcript, the way we talked, you'd think we were all hated each other. The way we talk in transcript, if off air.
You'd also just think we're like bad people.
Yes, we're awful people.
Right. So it's like, first off, it's that. Second, if it's an AI, I have the same fear that you have. It's like, you know, like how are they gonna determine like sarcasm versus?
Otherwise, you would need to pick out like literally thousands of real life like people monitoring chats who are not participating in the chats, which is so creepy. I may be creepier even than getting spied on by a robot.
People who are just
who would then make their own independent calls of whether your private conversations are appropriate and inclusive enough. This quote is, they said, this is brand new tech and there will for sure be growing pains, but the promise of a safer and more inclusive environment for everyone who chooses to play is worth it. I don't think it is.
No, it's not.
You're taking away the safety that comes with privacy.
Remember, I mean, I don't know if you guys have been paying attention. Like, the same stuff's been happening with the fact checkers have been working in overdrive lately. Like, me, who posts very little in the way of, like, stuff that's willing to get fact check online. I just don't. But I posted, like, 2 memes that just happened to be about, like, the price of gas. And both of them got fact checked by, like, Instagram. And that's the same type of AI that will be used to track down this type of speech. Right?
Like, I posted a picture of like a newspaper clipping that like happened to have a headline regarding like Pfizer. Yeah. And then it gives a fact check. There's no understanding of context when it comes to AI.
Yep. I posted the one about like a 7-Eleven which had gas prices for $7.11 and said the prophecy has been fulfilled.
And then like Instagram had to do its own little,
fully, yeah.
Listen, as a guy that's been playing online since pretty much like the original Xbox, like I can attest to the fact that like Xbox Live in particular and like pretty much any gamer chat you get into is morally like reprehensible. But that is part of the charm.
Part of the culture.
Would you call that like a version of locker room talk, but for like the new generations?
Kind of.
Basic,
lobby talk.
Yeah, that's actually like an incredible description of it, actually. But first thing, there's gonna be workarounds around this. Like, have you guys ever heard of Discord?
Yeah.
Or Skype? Jake's on you, then that means like no one is gonna use like your innate like chatting ability. Everyone's just gonna hop on Discord with their friends and talk as they see fit. I see this like backfiring. By the way, like how much of their demographic that plays like a shoot, like I'm guessing Valorant is like a shooting like type game, if I remember correctly. Like how much of like people that are actively like shooting each other with the pew pews every day do you think are like sensible people that need a triggered safe space? Not a lot.
That's
I'm guessing.
That's a really good point.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to take into account the reasons driving people to play this game.
Yep.
Right, so this is like, yet again, another example of media companies making things so broad and so unspecific they please literally no one.
Well, that's what I say. Who is this for? Like, who are the people that are complaining about this?
This is for Kotaku writers so they can make like a post on Kotaku. It's like, Valorant is taking great steps ahead for blah, blah, blah. Like, no one cares.
As Anita Sarkeesian comes in, it's like, but you could make more changes with my help.
You know what would be the funnier thing? Like, if Anita Sarkeesian jumped on any one of these chats, this woman is like morally reprehensible. So I'm sure she'd be the first person AI banned from there.
I wonder if any of the people who had like very, very hot takes about something very specific that happened on Friday, with all the celebrities with their hot takes about Roe v. Wade, I wonder if those people would survive in the chat with all of the awful things that they were saying.
I mean, like, honestly, like, I just don't know.
Was there some kind of like mass complaint?
I'm sure,
about how people were behaving in live chats.
I'm sure, but
that's a complaint that's gone
because
on
the fan base is of the game is the same people who are in the live chat. They don't care.
They never make these changes for the people that play the actual games. They do it for the people that they want to come.
Who
play
are the
games.
outsiders that care this much, who are invested in changing it when they're not the ones participating?
Devil's advocate, if you sound like remotely ethnic or feminine, like you are gonna get hounded on. Like,
if you like, for instance, with your accent, would you like get bullied for having an accent?
The thing is, like, I'd reply and it'd usually end there. So, like, if you're a sassy little boy I am.
Like, that's the principle that people, like, can't follow anymore is, like, don't be a player hater. Like, you either participate in the culture or leave.
You don't get to change the culture just because it offends you.
Yeah.
But it's like...
Thank you.
Like, get woke and go broke means nothing to these people. Like, just for example, like this weekend, there was I want to say a large video game tournament, but they lost literally 1,000 entrants from one year to another, like from last year to this year. It was called CEO Gaming 2022. It's like one of the largest like fighting game tournaments ever. Everything was like super woke, super diverse. All the commentators refer not only to the players but the characters as they.
What?
Yep.
I'm telling you, like literally, the commentators like, what a great attack by they. Oh, like I can't believe to see what them are gonna do. It's like, who?
I think you meant what them are. What a great attack by them. I can't wait to see what they're gonna do.
No, like that's legitimately.
And that's like a rule that they had to follow, or.
No, I just think it's that
that honestly could be like WWE announcers have like specific words they can and cannot say that are supposed to fit within the context of the show. They're never allowed to say hospital. They have to say medical facility and stuff like that. So commentating is usually a very micromanaged, depending on, especially if it's front-facing media and they're very worried about their public image. Stuff like that's very heavily regulated from those companies.
All I'm saying is, like, if I'm playing in a tournament and you call me they, you are misgendering me. Is that not the crime? To misgender someone? So it's like how many concessions must be made? Like now, literally everyone has to be like dealt with and talked about as if they're part of the LGBTQ community.
Yeah. Well, that's the world we live in now.
And it's what you say all the time. Like every single space now, everyone has to act like they're like the president running for office 24/7. No one comes to gaming to be polite.
Nope.
People game to play, have fun, joke with their boys and girls.
To not be on guard.
Yeah, for real. And
part of this is also the fact that we're making spaces where there is no such thing as a space that's designated for one group of people anymore.
Especially not for men anymore.
You're not allowed to have the girls can have the Girl Scouts, but you can't have the Boy Scouts. You can have there's no such thing as a lot of those men's clubs, where places where only men can go are no longer really a thing. They're not supposed to be a thing anymore because it's a sign of patriarchal behavior, our patriarchal history of this country. And the problem is, the more that you inject everyone's beliefs and sensibilities into every environment, you're going to get friction, and the politically correct side is going to win out every single time, because these spaces are run by companies that are worth billions of dollars that are looking to make as few waves as possible. And the only way to do that is by conceding every single time. And it's very, very frustrating.
And the thing is, they are pandering to people who are not part of the community and couldn't care less.
Right. It seems like they're conceding to no one.
Because they're looking for the phantom audience.
Place.
Right. And it's because, in my opinion, at least with the tournament organizers and things like that, the California soy boys, control that industry from top to bottom. They get all the commentators in the events. They take care of all the rules. Could you imagine any other event that's hosted in Daytona, Florida, out of all the places in the world that has a mask mandate in 2022? My brothers in Christ. What is going on? And they're literally losing 1,000 entrants. That's so much. Listen, you got to pay venue fee, which is $50, and the entrance fee for the games, which is $30. You're losing at minimum $80 times 1,000, and some people enter 3 to 4 games. So plus the beers they consume, plus the money, the food they consume, plus the water, and the money is spent there is they're just woking themselves to bankruptcy.
So also I want to point out here, so with the part about helping train our language models and get the tech good enough to place into a beta for launch later this year, does that mean also that's beyond the fact that people can just complain to mods, right? You can still just turn people in for poor speech?
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But that's always been that way, and honestly, sometimes you need it because
it seems like they just can't leave well enough alone. You already have a method, however inaccurate it might be for dealing with this type of stuff, which is where you report someone if somebody says something untoward. But they can't do that. They have to keep going further. They have to keep encroaching
because of the culture of it that has been built. The irreverent, maybe mischievous culture that has been built by the fan base. I feel the only thing that you'd be justified in reporting maybe is incitements to real life violence, or
what about
maybe personal information. That seems the only thing.
What about the idea of just having room, look, if you're more sensitive, you can go to this, you can, you know what I'm saying?
This is why we need separate girls and boys live chats. I think that would help a lot of people out.
Dude, use the ban function, use the mute function, use the kick function. Improve your algorithm to the point where it's this person gets kicked out of and muted out of matches 5% of his matches. Thus, it's probably easy to assume that it's a controversial player. For example, let me just give you an example of how this can be done. In fighting games, something that's been an issue is that sometimes you're in a ranked match, and the player, before losing, quits the match.
Yeah.
And not all games are designed to if they disconnect from the match, you get the points and they lose the points. Usually what they do is if they both go in neutral. However, and Warner Brothers who designs Mortal Kombat does this. Sorry, NetherRealms. If you disconnect from your matches an X number of times, you get pulled from the regular pool up to like a separate category of person that disconnects a lot, and they put a little icon next to you like, hey, by the way, like this, if you're playing this person, he's likely to disconnect. And that way he's like he or she, whatever, is like marked, and you know like what you're getting yourself into.
But they can reverse it, right? If they stop doing that.
That I don't know, but like usually like they don't. But like hopefully the good thing would be like if you like stop disconnecting, and then like the percentage of times of which you have disconnected versus not disconnected, and then you get added to the pool, that would be a good system. But just add something for that. Out of like if a person keeps getting muted every match and kicked every match and reported, add them to a pool of people that all they do is want to talk mess. And then maybe the people that talk mess get like matched up with the people that love talking mess. And then it's all good, you know? Like, who cares? Like, clearly they don't mind. So if they get matched with someone that like likes talking like...
I feel like they could easily use the same AI technology to match people who are like compatible the way they want to talk and the way they want to play.
Yep.
Rather than trying to police everyone's tone and language.
But the company understands that much better.
And they understand that they're going to fail miserably at this because like they're literally putting in disclosures like, we understand that like, along the way, like some things are going to go wrong. Yeah, a lot. Like AI, anything that has to do with AI and like, by the way, so what I learned in my master's degree, remember I am a flying golden god for liberals.
You are.
Thank you. Is that we understand computers, they don't understand us.
Yeah.
At all. So this is doomed to fail. Mm-hmm. Like there is no way where this doesn't fail.
Super chats.
Yes. JD said he described it as the type from Princess Bride.
Perfect.
About Jack Sparrow?
Jack Sparrow, yep.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yep.
Also, this isn't a super chat, but Dustin said monitors are precursors to the ban hammer.
Yep.
So do you think they're going to just start like mass banning people?
I'm sure they already are.
Soci Hobbit said, how much do you want to bet that Discord and Skype are either already monitoring the voice chats or are in the process of doing exactly what Riot Games is doing now?
Oh, I'm sure. And plus, that's probably baked into the to the TOS.
Well, if they do, another alternative will rise up, and you will lose your user base because no one has the sensibilities that you do.
I mean, you can say that, but even like in the context of big tech companies, the alternatives are never the same quality.
It's literally baked into the name, alt tech. Like it's given into the template. Like, do we post our videos to YouTube? Oh, and to Rumble. And then it's always and to this site. It never grows.
Like, it'll be clunky.
Yeah, it won't work the same.
I mean, that's what they said about Instagram at one point. You know, it's like, it's Facebook and Instagram. And, like, look at it now. It's like...
Facebook bought Instagram.
But that's what I'm saying. But, like, it was, like, Facebook's a parent company. Instagram is the sister company. And now, like...
That's true.
My young sister literally laughs at me for having a Facebook profile.
That's how I feel. Like, I never cared about Facebook and only ever cared about having an Instagram.
And that's what I'm saying, but like, because it's lame to be on Facebook.
After Friday, I was like, I am so glad I don't go on Instagram anymore. Holy crap! The last place I wanted to wait.
You mean Facebook?
What did I say? Instagram? Yeah. The last place I wanted to go on Friday after the court ruling was to Instagram or just to Facebook. Like, no, thank you.
For real.
Caber2X said, your Daneship, what are your thoughts on Ruby Rose gaming movie for Prime Video? 1 Up. The trailer looks like Gamer Girls Gone Wild comedy. Accent?
I have information on it here. I'd never heard of this.
I hadn't either. This looks super cringe.
The trailer for 1 Up is offering a first look at Ruby Rose's latest film, which centers around the world of competitive gaming. I'm sure it won't involve any toxically masculine boys at all. Directed by Kyle Newman, whose previous work includes Fanboys and Barely Lethal. Barely Lethal was awful. The upcoming comedy follows Vivian, an esports gamer who, after receiving a college scholarship to play for Barrett University, faces sexism within the school's male-dominated squad and ends up forming her own all-girls team to compete at the Nationals. It'd be really funny if they end up losing. Like,
this
really bad.
sounds like a Disney Channel movie, but adults.
In addition to Rose, who stars as Vivian's coach, Parker, the film features Hubby Halloween's Paris Burrell, Taylor Perez, and Hari Neff. Never heard of any of those names. So
I heard of Hari Neff.
I don't know who that is. Produced by Lionsgate and BuzzFeed's. Oh, this is the BuzzFeed movie.
BuzzFeed
okay, I forgot.
movie.
Yeah, no, I remember that. I remember hearing about this.
No.
Yeah, I thought this was the game. They were supposed to be making a satirical or like a comedy based around Gamergate. So maybe that's what this is supposed to be.
So it's supposed to be like self-aware.
The original concept for it was. Yeah, I don't know how self-aware this actually is. Says the first trailer for for One Up was recently released by Lionsgate Movies and introduces audiences to Burrell's nationally ranked player Vivian, as well as the dynamic between her and Dustin, the captain of Barrett's team. I'm sure Dustin is a complete gentleman and doesn't say anything bad ever and makes all men look like just classy guys all the time. I'm sure this movie will do. I am sure this movie will do men in gaming total justice. Total justice.
Be like, girls are icky. Go away.
Go away. We don't like girls here. That's
the funny thing is that they don't even understand the female gaming demographic. Every chick that plays games that I've met, doesn't want the fact that she's a chick having to do with it at all. She just wants to play. And they usually hate no one in the world more than other gaming chicks.
Why?
Because it's like, hi guys, kawaii here. I'm playing fussy whatever, and like no, and it's embarrassing.
Yeah.
Similar to me, if like some Latino guy was like, hello, bienvenidos, blah blah blah. Like no one would care.
Yeah.
Like no one likes the stereotype of anything. No one likes the tokenization of anything, and it's like every single thing we love must be girl bossed. Everything.
It's all girl bossed.
Everything is girl boss. And it's like, do you guys not like
I don't know.
money?
A satire of Gamergate would maybe be kind of funny. But this doesn't
That's
seem
not
like
gonna
it's
be
what...
that.
Yeah.
By BuzzFeed, Mary.
It involves Ruby Rose, for goodness
BuzzFeed.
sakes. With a buzz cut.
I wonder if
well.
Ruby Rose is healed up from her injuries from Batwoman. She got hurt on the set of Batwoman. That's why she left the show.
What happened to her?
The incompetent stuntman, and she had like neck surgery, and they like made her come back to work right away, if I remember correctly. It was very bad. So also, it's not like anybody ever bought her as like a superhero, given that she's like 5'0" and like weighs like 80 pounds. So we will see where that movie goes. But I have less than high hopes. But maybe that'd be see again. I can't drink, but that might be a fun one to drink and watch and review.
So to Lord Caper, I don't know, bro. Sounds sus as hell. That's my official opinion.
Thanks for watching this clip, guys. If you want to see full episodes or follow us on social media, links are in the description below. Bye.